1, 2, 3, welcome back to ASI's 2017 Dallas, Texas, SecurityGuideTV.com, Chuck Harold, and Mr. Joe Zaccaria from PremierRiskSolutions.com. Had a little false start there a minute ago, sorry about that, but we're back. Joe, tell us what you guys do.
Yeah, so we know what we're good at. We focus on security consulting, executive protection, and event security.
Okay.
On the consulting side of the house, we do some special things that not a lot of people do. And yeah.
Are they secret? Can you tell me?
I can tell you. Yeah. So there's a big area of called food defense. Food companies.
Food defense?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's very, I have not heard this. Okay.
Yeah. So food defense, there's federal regulation with the FDA. And there was a concern after 9/11, some raids of different terrorist organizations.
Okay.
And as a result of that, there was some playbooks found that said, contaminate the food supply.
Okay.
So we work with food companies, and there's specific FDA regulations around the Food Safety Modernization Act, and food companies are responsible for doing assessments and complying with those regulations.
Now, it's just interesting. I back in the day when I ran a guard company, Okami Foods was one of my clients. They do sushi.
Yes.
They're in a lot of places all over the place. And, yeah, we had some very specific things we had to do that are a little different than regular guard forces.
Right.
The research I did at the time was that, so far, no terrorist had attacked a food source. Is that still the case technically?
There's been some incidents around intentional adulteration is what we call it. There have been incidents. There was one many years ago in the Oregon area.
Okay.
So there have been, some
Well,
cases.
but you know how it is. Once you talk about it, then it happens, of course, right?
Right.
Tell us some of the things you do in that area that's unique.
Yeah, so we're uniquely qualified because we've received special training in food defense. We're certified in that area. And so we marry our knowledge of physical security and our knowledge of the food industry and key activities within the food industry so that we can save a client time and money because we know the areas that are most vulnerable to an attack of intentional adulteration.
Probably more than they do because they're just interested in putting out a good product. Very interesting. All right.
Right. And because we're not in that environment every day, we do rely on their local expertise. But as the outside eye, we catch a lot of things that they glance by every day.
All right.
So it's a win-win for our clients.
And tell us some of the things you guys work in vertical markets, like consulting. What kind of vertical markets do you approach?
Yeah, so we've done a lot of high tech. We do the food industry, and we also do healthcare. And with healthcare, there's also a new set of regulations. It's called CMS 3178. And after the incidents in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the federal government has come down and said, if you as a health institution, not just a hospital, but like close to 30,000 different types of health institutions, if you don't have your act together with emergency management, we're coming down on you. You won't receive your Medicare and Medicaid money.
Oh, well, that's where
then
they pay attention.
Critical.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. And so that centers around emergency preparedness and not just having plans that sit on a shelf, but the government actually wants to see assessments and then plans that are exercised at least a couple times a year. And on a campus basis and then outside the campus to see how well your mutual agreements work.
Right.
So it's pretty comprehensive.
What's your scope? A nationwide, a worldwide? How do you
nationwide
do it? Right.
With that. With food defense, it actually extends beyond the U.S. borders.
Okay.
Because anyone shipping food into the U.S. is required by FSMA to have the same standards that are applicable to companies in the U.S.
Yeah, so if you manufacture in Mexico, you better have the standards here, and you got to check in stuff.
That's right.
Now,
and on executive protection, we operate in 70 countries around the world.
70, wow.
We have trusted assets in all of those countries, and we deliver, I think, excellent results. We've never had a complaint. So
that's unusual in this business.
It is.
Mr. Joe from PremierRiskSolutions.com.
Thank you very much, sir.
Fantastic conversation. What an interesting practice with all those vertical markets. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on SecurityGuideTV.com.
Appreciate it.
Back in a minute here with another show at the ASIS Hub, booth 1613, Dallas, Texas. Back in a minute. Bye.